Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I just got back from a super fun road trip. I took a trip just with the express purpose of going to a place that had a couple of stores that I don't have anywhere around me. I've had several of you suggest this location, only it's about 3 hours northeast of me to get to the closest location of Food Lion. I've told you all before, I was a Navy brat growing up. My dad moved around quite a bit. After we left New Orleans, we did a tour in Virginia Beach. While we lived there, there was a grocery store called Food Town. Apparently there was another Food Town that was already established, so they changed it to Food Lion. I'm not really sure how they came up with that idea because to me, it's always been super awkward because the name doesn't really make any sense. It's like they wanted to keep food and they were just looking for something to tag on the back of it. It made about as much sense as when Snoop Dogg changed his name to Snoop Lion. We see how that went. So anyway, from that point on, Food Town was known as Food Lion, and then when we moved out of that area, I haven't seen one since. So I scheduled a trip to Clarksville, Tennessee, so that I could go and hit up a Food Lion. Now, I did hit other locations on the way, and I filmed my trip. So in a couple of weeks, there's going to be a video come out about my experience so that you can kind of get a little, behind the curtain look at how my process works. So if that sounds like something you'd like to see, leave me a comment and tell me about it. But for now, let me introduce you to the Dad Budget Adventures Homemade MRE Menu FL1, approved by Snoop Lion. So before we tear into that, let's go over the rules real quick, other than the fact that for entertainment purposes only, I like to source everything I can at a single location. I do have 3 rules that I go by with all of my MREs. Rule number 1 is everything in here has to be able to be eaten straight out of the package. Doesn't mean that's how we're going to do it, just means it needs to be able to be. Only exception to that is if we have to add some hot water for coffee or a water bottle for a drink mix. Rule number 2 is everything in here has to have at least a 1-year shelf life or best by date from the day that I buy it. 2 reasons being that if I put this thing in storage and it takes me a year to get around to eating it, I want it to be as fresh as can be expected when I do get to it. The other reason being it just makes it more challenging for me to find things other than just grabbing the first thing I come to. Rule number 3 is the menu. This MRE must have an entree, a side, a walking around snack, a dessert, and a beverage. With that out of the way, let's tear into this bag and see what's in my homemade MRE from Food Lion. All right, so our first item, of course, is our entree. Once again, with these things being as readily available as they are, I feel like we're not going to run out anytime soon, and I'm trying not to get too stale with it, but today's entree is another Indian entree. This is a vegetarian dish. One of the things that people keep pointing out is that the reason why these vegetarian Indian dishes have a good enough shelf life and can be packaged like this is that they don't contain meats, so there's less to go rancid in the food. It doesn't require the high temperature cooking that canning meats does. It does allow for a good variety of interesting foods. This is the Kazana brand organic yellow lentils with chickpeas curry. Always sounds like a good option to me. Now to go with that, because when I can, I try not to just eat it as a vegetarian option. I picked up a pack of this Nature's Promise light tuna. This is the sweet and spicy variety, and I believe Nature's Promise is probably Food Lion's store brand because I saw that name a lot in there. If you know for sure, please leave a comment below and let me know. But I figured that dish actually sounds like it will work with tuna, and this being a sweet and spicy variety, I think that's going to be really good. And as our side to go with that, of course, we've got the standard, the minute rice basmati. Basmati rice is always a good choice when you're going with things like Indian food. The rice itself has a pretty bold flavor for rice, and it adds a little bit of extra belly filling to that entree. So before we go any further, let's get this stuff in the trucker's lunchbox so we can get it warming up and get ready for lunch. We'll see how much will fit in here. It's not always big enough for all of these. Looks like it'll fit. Good deal. Ever since I've started showing those truckers' lunch boxes, a lot of people are expressing how much they love them. I was looking the other day at my Amazon affiliate links, and people are buying these things like crazy. And that makes me really happy because that is a super versatile device. Whether you're using it in your car, whether you're using it in an arrangement like this where you've got a solar generator hooked up to it, or if you're just using it in your hotel room, this thing comes in super handy because you don't have to have any flame, you don't have to have any fuel. All you got to have is a place to plug it in. So while that's cooking away, let's see what else we've got in our kit. For our walking around snack, I picked up these That's It fruit bars. I bought a pack that has 2 different kinds in it, and I put in 1 of each because they are kind of small. So that's not going to hold me over for very long. So having 2 in there you know, I'm a grown-up. I bought it with my own money. If I want to put 2 in there, I'm going to put 2 in there. But I've got 1 strawberry, 1 banana. So we're going to see which one we like best. Dessert was the thing that gave me the most trouble. Typically, I don't like to add candy type items into this, but understand that candy is a traditional MRE dessert. You know, you're not going to put a slice of cake in your MRE. So you're usually going to end up with something like chocolate or something like that. So a lot of times you find hard candy or hardish candy treats that are in your kit. For this one, I got the Hot Tamales Fierce Cinnamon Packs. These are the super cheap movie theater style packaging of treats. And the thing about it is this has enough in it. I can eat some to curb that sweet tooth after dinner and then probably have some left for a little bit later. The last thing in here, of course, is our beverage. And for that, I've got the Nescafe Instant Coffee. This is Nescafe Classic Dark Roast. Now, I said that usually I try to source everything I can from a single location, but I also get a lot of people that come in and leave comments about adding accessory kits or things like that to it because traditional MREs had that. And while I do understand that, I try not to cross that line where I'm putting things in there I didn't get from that source, but every once in a while I have something that I just really want to throw in there because for one, the MRE can benefit from it, and it's just super cool. A while back, one of my viewers sent me a pack of these Copper Cow Latte Creamer packs. This is sweetened condensed milk in a single serving pouch. So you get the benefit of creamer and the benefit of sugar in a single pack. So I added that in there to go with our coffee. So that's everything in our MRE from Food Lion. I'm gonna get this coffee made, and then we can start trying out some of the stuff in the bag. So let's get this coffee made up. And of course, in order to do that, we have to have the Dad Budget Adventures official, unofficial bling mug. So let's open this up. So I've tried a lot of instant coffees in the course of doing these videos, and I'm curious, what is your absolute favorite go-to brand when it comes to instant coffee? I've had some really good stuff, and I've had some absolutely awful stuff, but I do this for you. So let's stir this up. It's not the best smelling coffee I've ever smelled. I hope it tastes better than it smells. It's just very ordinary smelling, I guess. Let's get this added in there. These little packs of this Copper Cow Latte Creamer, these are a treat in themselves. I mean, it's nothing but sweetened condensed milk. And you could certainly throw a pack of that in any kit, and you wouldn't even have to have anything to put it in. You can just open it up, shoot it straight out of this pack, like this. That's so good. Stir that in. Smells better already. Just the addition of that little bit of sweetness and creaminess to it. All right, we're going to set this to the side for just a minute. Let this settle. And we're going to try our walking around snacks. We're going to start with this. That's it. Apples and strawberry fruit bar. See how this is going to be. So it reminds me a little bit of the apple coconut bar that we had at Trader Joe's. It's kind of that minced up fruit kind of thing where it's all pulpy and mixed into a bar. It smells kind of like an overripe apple. It's overripe, but it's not yet rotten. Let's give this a try. Ooh, that's got a little bit of bitterness to it. It's good, but it's sharp. It's got a really bitter edge to it. And it's gone in 2 bites. I think that bitterness translates from the tartness of the strawberries. I don't think they add a lot of sugar into this, so the strawberries are left with that super tart edge to them. Let's give this apples and banana a try. See which one we like best. Ooh, that's a weird smell. I don't smell apples. I don't smell bananas. That is such a bizarre smell that if the smell alone was what I had to go from, probably wouldn't eat it. That smell is almost like sawdust. That is so crazy. I'm a little leery of this one, guys. This is a little strange, but we're gonna give it a shot. So it doesn't taste like it smells, but it doesn't taste great. The banana really comes out once you start chewing. Once you bite into those little pulpy banana pieces, you start to get that. But I can tell that this product is made with overripe fruit that probably didn't make the cut for getting distributed as fresh fruit. It is just something in the flavor that tells me that the fruit they use is overripe. But I will tell you this, when you go to take a bite of these, don't inhale just before you bite. That smell really is weird. So the answer to the question I posed earlier is I like the strawberry best. Apple and strawberry is a much better flavor. But here's the thing, these kind of products tend to be marketed more towards kids. I'm not sure if kids would like that. It's such a non-sweet taste to it, and that over-ripeness that really comes through. I can actually see little kids not caring for that at all. So if you're building a kit for your kids, I don't think I'd go with that brand. All right, let's give this coffee a try. See how that is. So I've been watching this cup very closely over time. The longer I use it, the more I keep expecting things to fall off of it, but so far it's held up really well. Amanda did a really good job of building that for me. Anyway, cheers. So the Nescafe coffee is not bad, but it is extremely bitter. But it's bitter in that way that some people really like in their coffee. It's got bite to it. You can definitely tell you're drinking coffee. You're not drinking a milkshake here. Even with the addition of the latte creamer, that bitterness still really comes through. You'd have to add probably another pack to really tame that down a little bit. But it's not a bad cup of coffee. That's a fairly decent instant coffee right there. But also keep in mind, I just ate those weird fruit snacks. So I'm going to revisit this once I've kind of cleansed the palate a little bit and see if it still tastes as good as it does right now. It could actually be better. Once I get that fruit pulp out of my mouth, that coffee might actually taste better. Let's get our entree inside out of the trucker's lunchbox. Let's get lunch prepared because I am hungry. Those 2 bars really, I mean, they helped a little bit, but they didn't go very far. So let's dive in here. All right, let's get our rice out on the plate. We're going to use our Hydro Flask plate that was sent to us by a viewer. Next, we're going to get into this Nature's Promise light tuna, sweet and spicy variety. Ooh, that's a little, ooh, kind of like cat food. Let's get it out of here. Before we open our main entree, let's get a taste of this. And I'm really hoping this tastes better than it smells because it does not smell good. Okay. Okay, tastes pretty good. It's definitely sweet. It's got some heat to it. It's not half bad. If you can get past the smell, flavor's pretty good. It's time for this yellow lentils with chickpeas curry. I can tell already this is very thin and runny, so we're gonna have to be careful with that so it doesn't go everywhere. Yeah, it's very, very runny. That is so watery. It smells good. It's got that curry smell to it, but I mean, I'm looking in here and all I see is liquid. So I'm guessing it's just the heavy stuff's in the bottom and the liquid's on top. So let's get this out. See how wet that is? My goodness. All right, so here's the thing with this. This is a lentils and chickpeas curry. There's about 5 or 6 chickpeas in here. The rest of it is liquid, and it looks like these little bitty lentils. Let's get a bite of this on its own. So I can get one of these chickpeas. And let's try this. All right, it's a good curry. It's not exciting. As I said, it's very wet. So let's get everything mixed up and see if this is a satisfactory mix. All right, everything's mixed up. Let's see what we've ended up with. A bite with everything, some tuna, some rice, some curry. Going in. I can't tell you how relieved I am that the tuna flavor works as well as it does with the curry. Part of me was worried that the sweet and spicy aspect of the tuna might clash with the curry, but it blends really well with it. It's a good combination. There's a little bit of the canned food kind of taste to it. The tuna doesn't really come across like you're eating pouch tuna so much, but overall there is a hint of that processed food taste that you get with canning. It's raining pretty heavy outside. I don't know if y'all can hear that or not. Anyway, the saltiness of that curry hitting that sweetness of the tuna really just works. It's a surprising combination that it works as well as it does, since these two products have nothing to do with each other. All right, let's try this coffee again now that all that sweetness is gone out of my mouth. Yeah, that's not too bad. I'd drink it again. Moving on to dessert, we have our hot tamales fierce cinnamon. Let's see how fierce it's going to be. I always loved hot tamales, but it's another one of those brand products where people keep trying to experiment with stuff. If all they're doing is turning up the cinnamon, then this might actually be really good. There's that bright red food coloring. No smell, nothing to give away what's about to happen. Here we go. They're spicy, but they're not over the top. It's a pretty pleasant flavor overall. It's a good way to kind of flush the other stuff out of your mouth if you got to be around other people. All right, now let's see how this coffee is going to go over. I imagine this is probably not going to be pleasant. I almost can't taste the coffee. Yeah, the coffee tastes completely bland now, like there's no sweetener or anything in it. Like the sugar and the heavy cinnamon just killed my taste buds when it comes to bitters. All right, so that is it for this homemade MRE from Food Lion. I hope you enjoyed this video. And as always, if you have suggestions for places that I have not been to before, even if I don't have one in my area, I'm trying to find more and more to take time to go to places within reasonable driving distance from home to find places that I don't have. I'm going on a trip this weekend with the wife, and there's at least one store in that area that we don't have here, so I'm gonna hit that up while we're there. But that's gonna be it for this video, and until the next one, prepare for the world you live in, not the one you wish existed. We'll see you around.